Welcome back, everybody, to the Ninjas Away podcast. I am your host, Allie Johnson, and today I have a very special guest. I have Lynn with me. She is the of Cali Kids. She also owns a swim school. She has a dance school, and this is a multimodality location that is in Orange County, California. She's also the creator of Sweet Peas Gymnastics, which is a early childhood education licensing program, and this is adopted by hundreds of gyms across the U.S. So all of these things have made her a very respected voice in the kids program industry. And so I'm super excited to dive into the wealth of knowledge that she has for us today. Lynn, thanks for being with me.
Oh my gosh, Allie, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Lynn, you built multiple successful businesses from Cali to swim schools to Sweet Peas. From all of those experiences, what has most shaped the way that you think about a well-run kids activity center?
Probably the common denominator, I'm going to say it's not magic, it's hard work. When I look back on, I never meant to do all of this. I was looking for something I liked. I was looking for something that worked with my family, and I was looking for something that I could sustain over the years and that had power for the ambitious.
Yeah.
And so it kind of landed into this. And the common denominator, the key, I think, is just sticking with it and being brave and taking risks. But I never believed in the get rich quick schematic. I just feel like it's hard work and putting your foot in the right door and
Hmm.
taking a step.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is definitely like a business for the passionate. They're not in it because they're here to get rich quick. And you came from a background of being a lawyer, correct?
I did. And you actually said some magic words to me because I don't think very many of us get into this industry. I'm going to make a lot of money. Most of us are choosing a lifestyle or a passion or both, but there is money in the
Sure.
industry. There is opportunity for sure, especially for those who don't necessarily make that their priority.
Yeah, I love that. Those who don't go searching for it might just find it.
You search for the quality and you search for the growth and the innovation and the good ideas and the what makes sense, and then you put the work behind it.
Yeah.
That to me is and that's fun. That's the fun part.
Absolutely. Then you get to see the impact of that in the students that you work with and the families, right? That all of the hard work and the innovations and these good ideas, and you could see the ripple effect of that through the community that you create.
Yeah, and it is really community based. That's another super cool thing about this work that we all do is whether you're looking at it in a really global sense, you're running multiple locations, or you're working one sweet location in your hometown, there's still such a community to it, such a real, honest, legitimate community, quite satisfying. Like it's an awesome way to make a living.
Absolutely. I think so too. Why do you believe retention is just as important, if not more important, than attracting new students?
Yeah, it's a little bit more controllable. You already have those students with you, so they've already taken that first step of coming on board with you. People often say you don't have to spend as much money. There's no new student acquisition cost, there's no marketing leads, but it's really a misnomer because it does take a lot of money to keep students. It takes a quality program, it takes good curriculum, it takes good training, it takes good onboarding systems, it takes a clean facility, which costs money. So it's
Yeah.
not the cheap route to go, but there is more control to it. And so if I'm going to spend my dollars, I'm going to spend them on things that I can control in my facility, which is all those quality based factors. That's going to help me retain. And then I going back to the community base, you have kids that are with you for a year or two or three. That's so much more fun than 25 new kids, 25 new kids. And of course, we welcome those new kids. That's a big part of the strategy of growing our businesses. But
Sure.
retaining there is challenging, but it's almost always focused right back on doing the right thing in the right ways at the right time for the right reasons.
Sure.
And then all good things, fun to watch those kids grow and fun to keep them as longtime customers.
And speaking of long-term customers, you've seen incredibly strong retention, especially with the kids who start young, right? So from ages 1 to 5, why is it so important to get kids at this range or have a program that engages kids even as young as even right when they start walking, right? So why is that so important for long-term enrollment and retention?
We've studied it, and we do know that when we look at the kids who have stayed with us the longest, invariably they started really young. There are some magic keys to starting young. Number one, there's less competition among 1, 2, and 3-year olds. They're not playing soccer yet. They're not in the marching band. They're not playing chess, most of them yet. So we have a broad net that we can cast. We have an opportunity to bring in a lot of kids. And then it's on us to keep them. When they start very young, if I can start them at 1 or 2, by the time they get to 4, 5, or 6, we're really starting to teach some skills beyond just the developmental benefits of movement, but really we're getting into the discipline of our sport.
Mm.
If, if they've already been with us for 3 or 4 years, they're quite good. Once a child starts to get good, it's hard for new kids to enter, and that's a challenge that has to be met. But once they start getting good, it's much easier to keep them. And there are interesting stats about the first couple years are real fun because it's new, it's not hard, it's exciting. The end years are really fun because you're quite good, you're advanced, you can do big tricks, you're getting accolades for what you're doing. It's the 10 years in the middle
Sure.
where where in our challenge lies. But when you start them early, you avoid the competition. You can train them and get them a little bit ahead of all the entry level kids and keep them advancing. And that's really good. So
Mm.
then our challenge becomes, and this is where a lot of us don't do well, is what about the kids who join at 5, 6, 7, and 8, and they look around and the little 5, 6, and 7 year olds, we're probably pretty good at that. 7, 8, 9, they can look around and they're seeing many other 7, 8, 9 year olds who are much better than that. So now our challenge is how do we eliminate that barrier to entry, and what kind of programs do we have that make this child who's aware of the differences and maybe their inadequacy and that peer pressure and that acknowledgement, how do we make it fun and exciting for them so they feel success? So there's a lot that we weave into this new student acquisition and retention, and all the efforts to promote have to be calibrated against making sure we're not making it hard for the new entries to come in. So those are some things that we've experienced painfully
Sure.
and learned and have tried to make some adjustments.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at your organization, you have pathways for them to go, right? So it's like after they graduate Sweet Peas, like this age that we're talking about, you have gymnastics and tumbling and swim and like these other options that as they age out of that early childhood age, there's somewhere for them to go.
Right.
And not every gym has that. And I'm sure speak to maybe there's people that just have a single Sweet Peas location right? After they age out of what is it, 6 years? Okay.
But most of us are going beyond that. Sweet Peas is focuses on 6 and under, like that's our strength. But we have Sweet Peas locations, including my own, that still do 7, 8, 9,
Oh,
10.
cool.
We still do ninja. We still
Yeah.
do aerial art. We still have birthday parties in camp and all that. But Sweet Peas is the lead, and
Mm,
that's the brand name. But we still try to provide that diversity of programming to
sure.
keep kids. There are other locations where they might be 2,500 square feet, so they have a direct limitation on how many students they can have. What I like about Sweet Peas is it does focus, or any program that focuses on the younger,
Mhm.
especially if they involve parent and me applications, they can be the most profitable. So
Mm,
if I'm only going to have 2,500 square feet, I'm going to have to look for ways to capitalize on my profitability.
mm.
In all likelihood, team programs aren't going to work. We know those kids train 30 hours a week and your gym is nothing but team. So I like the rec-based programs. I like the 1 hour a week programs for those small locations. That just seems to be good business sense and good functional use of the space for the programming.
Yeah. And while we're on this subject of this early childhood age, something that I see a lot when I go to do an event at a facility and I'm there to watch classes, it seems to be the hardest point for them when it comes to mommy and me classes. And
Mm.
this is just totally my opinion. I have a 3-year-old, so I'm currently
Right.
engaging in mommy and me classes, right? I'm engaging that from the different end. But what I see a lot in facilities is that these parents come in and the coaches don't acknowledge the parents at all. They don't talk to them, they don't learn their name. Like they're not actually teaching the parent how they could best support the child in the class. And I feel like this is a big missing mark. What kind of insight do you have to make mommy and me classes like spectacular?
Any and putting the right person on that. Whether it's ninja or gymnastics or dance, you might have a beautiful dancer who is a beautiful dance teacher, but knows nothing about parenting or holds or spotting techniques with very small children. So there is specific training that applies to a very small child.
Yeah.
And so what we obviously do with a 9-month old is going to be completely different than what we do with a 3-year-old or a 10-year-old. We still do inversions and we still do gripping applications and we still do pre gymnastics activities, but really focused on the baby.
Yeah.
And then we spent a lot of time talking about what parents can do in that room to support the activity. But you're right, it's not a well known activity in any sports for the parents. We see it in swimming a bit. Swimming is years ahead of us and offering baby classes, a variety of them. We see it now in gymnastics making inroads. There's some like music and me movement classes that have a little bit of movement and they're going to teach cognitively some of the rhythms and taps and counts and things, which is beautiful. But in a real activity based program for littles, it involves understanding how children move, anatomical differences. Like when I'll give you an example, and this is a classic example. You see a coach teaching maybe a bridge, which requires a child to put their hands over their head. You and I, our hands here, their hands reach here, their heads are and their arms are little, and it's not a safe activity for them because they're really on their head.
Yeah.
So you look for these anatomical understandings within the teacher's repertoire so they understand how babies are built, how they're different, where their spines are not strong, how their arms are short, where their noggin is too heavy, just their
Yeah.
vestibular awareness. They spin around twice and they're down for the count, not for them, but then an awareness and talk to the parents about what that actually the benefit of doing that spinning. So it's training and it's understanding those little ones and then being brave enough to have the ability to engage with a parent who is the expert on this child. That's intimidating. What am I going to tell this mommy about this prize gem that she already knows more than me about? That's her baby. And it takes a little bit of comfort level and experience. And I think the best thing that they can do is work with a lead teacher who's strong and
Mm.
really that's if there's ever an opportunity for mentoring, it would be with those baby classes and get someone real comfortable. I've also seen little cue cards placed around the training room to
Mm.
help coaches know here's what this activity is about. Here's the smart thing you can say to the parent
Sure.
about the developmental benefit of why we are doing this rocking activity or something. So it's training for sure.
Absolutely. And we were having this conversation around this idea of being able to be a partner in parenting, right? There's no manual when you get a kid, right? They just send you home from the hospital and send you a bill and say, hey, good luck. And especially myself being a new parent, there is so many unknowns, right? And where these types of programs and these types of environments can really help become a partner in parenting and educate them on things that they don't quite know, right? But that also takes good curriculum and the training and what you're speaking to.
And it's funny, I've been into my gymnastics classroom and I see these mommies come in, and our youngest class is called Sweet Peas, and it's for birth to walking. We thought it was so ridiculous when we started it. So what are we going to do with 9 months old?
Yeah.
We changed our mind. We started researching. We thought actually there's quite a bit of developmental things that we could do.
Sure.
We get those parents in there, and I walk in, and they're not asking about gymnastics. It's to your point. They're
Yeah.
saying, Coach Jamie, so my daughter, her teeth, and I'm thinking, her teeth.
Yeah, totally.
You might speak from a mommy's point of view. They do view you as a great resource and
Yeah,
a compound one. It's really quite nice.
sure, absolutely. How can gym owners shift from this idea of just filling a month's worth of classes to designing an actual journey that helps keep families for years? Instead of just this one-time acquisition, they come in, they stay for maybe 3 months. How can we shift that thinking from short term to an actual customer journey that provides milestones that keeps kids for years and years?
Probably one element of that is to understand there's not just one journey.
Sure.
In the gymnastics environment, traditionally, it's very geared toward this really narrow funnel, which is competitive, artistic competitive gymnastics. And our view quickly became that number one, it wasn't all inclusive. And number two, it wasn't great business sense unless it was really managed well.
Sure.
And it didn't, most gyms will struggle with that. And number three, it just wasn't as exciting to me. So we switched our curriculum. We still have a very competitive acrobatic team. So there is a competitive path for those kids. So there you can fashion that customer journey toward a Sweet Peas for us to
Mm.
a team to a level one team, to a level two, to a 3 to 4, and then they get into the 15, 16, 20 hours a week. That is traditional competitive gymnastics.
Yeah.
And we have what we call our performance athletics team. That competitive team usually serves about 2% of
Mm-hmm.
most programs. So then what about the other 98%? We know that there's always going to be kids who don't want any team program. They might be happy for years coming one day a week and tumbling. That's what they want. They're excited about that. Okay, thank goodness. That's an easy journey. Just keep good teachers, keep good friends together, keep your facility nice, keep them safe. And some kids will be very happy with that path. But really, the majority falls somewhere in between that, my experience is. And they want a little bit more than 1 hour a week, but they're not going to compete. Either they don't want to or it's not for them.
Sure.
So therein we have things like you described. We have aerial arts. Aerial arts is for the crazy kid, is for the kid who is willing to go on a trapeze, the kid
Yeah.
who's climb 32 feet up, tie a certain silk, and then drop. So that's a whole different kid. So there's a path there. It's very artistic, very niche, very different, very courageous type of activity, and builds a different kind of athlete too. Strong upper body, extreme flexibility, not as much impact. So it's a different sport. And then we have our performance athletic team, which we do shows like circus stuff, but it's gymnastics with
Yeah.
costuming. And so these kids, they could be not talented or they could be pretty ultra talented and they're going to really do well. And as long as we have enough shows and enough choreography and enough opportunities for them to really show up, like that has been for us a really winning journey for our students. And that it's really been game changer for us.
Yeah, and you spoke a little bit about these shows and the showcases and how much of a big deal this is and how it also ties so much to like the retention piece of the business, being able to celebrate these kids' progress, getting the family involved. So I'd love for you to just share a little bit about your showcases and how cool they are and how much your parents absolutely love them. They're lined up at the door like waiting to get tickets.
Right. The first one we did was in 2008 and we called it Cats. And we did 15 numbers that had cat songs. Complete, and everyone was in a cat outfit. And so it was just, we did a number, had a kitty cat song. They got up there and did that. The curtain closed. It took us 20 minutes to move things around. And then we did it again, another number, and got through. And then within a couple of years, we got a little bit better at it. And we started coming up with themes. And we learned to rely on well orchestrated existing themes. And you, of course, you pay for this. You have to pay for the theatrical rights and the music rights, which we do. But they've spent billions of dollars on all this great music. So we capitalize on the great music that is out there. We're not so much coming up with 15 random songs anymore. We have a show. So like we're doing 'Twas the Night
Mm.
this time, and Cirque du Soleil has done very similar. So they have some good music for us. And then there's, of course, classic Christmas songs. So now what we do is the shows will take place over a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There'll be about 1,200 children that will participate in the weekend. And there'll be 15 to 17 casts of about 100 kids. And some of them are teen kids, which is why I don't count them over and over. They'll be in multiple shows. And it's the same show every time. So there'll be like a 2-year-old number in it, and each show, a different group of 2-year-olds go through it. And there'll be a preteen number, some of the same preteamers, and then some different ones. And then we showcase everybody, our little gymnasts, our aerial artists, our top acrobatic competitive team on the national team, our dancers. Everybody is in the show. It's a good show for the parents.
Mm.
We learned 45 minutes is the sweet spot. So they're there to watch their kid. They don't want to be there for 2 hours.
Sure.
Uh, and we've learned backdrops, lights,
Mm.
staging, curtains, props, full on costuming and makeup is what we've been able to do. We own 3 storage units with costumes in there. We provide the costumes for them. We buy costumes every year and we have a big repertoire. And it's a big thing in our community. And we all go and we all bring grandmas and grandpas and we take pictures and we dress up and they buy flowers and these little 2-year-olds are getting celebrated and everything, tutus fall off and ninjas run off and sometimes someone misses a big trick. But for the most part, it's a pretty awesome
Yeah.
event for these kids. And it's something they work hard for. They learn that choreography and they get brave when they get up there and they do it. And after a few years, they're quite good. They're really impressive, some of them. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's creating so many other life skills,
Yeah,
presentation skills, confidence. And I can only imagine the all of the other good from a business sense that comes out of it. I'm sure you're flooded with 5-star reviews and pictures on Facebook and their referrals and all of these other things that I'm sure follow these events.
yeah, it creates a lot of forgiveness too. Like some a mess sometimes. We're walking people in, and it's a gym. Step
Yeah.
up over this, step down over this. Watch out for this. And this kid runs in front, and so we're trying to get grandmas and grandpas and everybody in safely. And sometimes people, this isn't where I thought I was sitting. At the end of the show, I loved where I sat. Never mind what I said. It was great. It was beautiful. So it creates a lot of love. It just does.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about what are the qualities of a truly sticky program. The families that stay, not just for skills, but like the overall experience, making them think about you all the time, right? Whether they're in their gym and when they're out the gym. So, can you expand on what that means and how you execute this in your program?
Yeah, I studied retention a couple years ago, really with intention. I mean, we all know stuff about retention, but I really wanted to look at it just in my facility. So we did some studies, and some things that we found were one thing was if a child comes more than one day a week, they are less likely to drop.
Mm.
That makes sense with us team kids. Team kids come several times. We all know team kids aren't going to drop. We know they like us. They've been here for 10 years. They're not likely to drop this month. But it was beyond that. It was in our facility someone who just took two gymnastic classes,
Mm.
or they took swim and gym, or they're in ninja and camp, or also it applied to a sibling. We found that a child who had a sibling enrolled. So it made this connection that when they're with us more, we have a bigger influence over them.
Sure.
And so that was the first realization. And so we made this effort to get kids to sign up for more than one class, whether it is just organically, it's time to get into swimming because we don't want you to drown, or you're promoting now, it would be better for you if you took 2 times a week. We got to get you ready. We're excited about preteen or whatever that advancement is.
Yeah.
Then we started to, the next recognition came with wear. We had dabbled in some wear and some retail in the past. Our dance let down to the cool kids in the gym. They're
Sure.
always, little teachers are more stylish than gymnasts and swimmers. And they did a good job of creating some really cute wear. And then what we learned was little kids don't care about Nike, Reebok, or any of the big brands.
Yeah.
They care about their brand, their Ninja brand, or their Sweet Pea brand, or that's what they want. So we learned we actually could be really cool in their eyes. So
Mm.
then that was the second, like what I call touch. The second, let's get them to wear our stuff. Let's get them to rep our brand. And
Yeah.
then not just the 2 days a week that they're with us, but when they wear that shirt at school, or gosh, Twins Day. I love Twins Day at school. All the schools do Twins Day. We just kill it on Twins Day
Yeah.
because Cali Kids have shirts, required camp shirts. We've always had required wear for our academic preschool program. Certainly, we have the leotard. So we did the wear. And then the next thing we did was let's work on our drive by. We know our own customers drive by our building all the time. So, of course, we want new customers to drive by, but I also like it when our existing customer drives by and they have a reason to look over and say, oh, look, they put the Grinch up. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, we're in the conversation in the car.
Mm.
We have looked for ways to make them think of us every day of the week, even if they don't have class. So maybe it's the certificate that got put up. Maybe we're doing a photo shoot that they got invited to that we want them to come to. Maybe it's that they're coming to camp this week. Maybe we gave them a free open gym pass.
Mm.
Maybe it's a collect your cookie day, but something for them to think about us throughout the week. And that we've learned helps with retention. The more they're engaged with you. And it makes sense, it makes
No, totally.
like being a good girlfriend or being a good boyfriend. You have to be thoughtful every day.
Mm, yeah. And in theory, it's yeah, duh, but like actual execution of this stuff takes a lot, right?
There's
Like the blow up you're getting out in front of the building and the coloring sheet you're sending home and all of these things, the branding and putting it on everything, right? Like every little piece of wear and every little piece of merchandise. And the good thing is, I think in this day and age, there's a lot of tools out there that could help us make these things rather quickly, right? AI has made this stuff a little easier to do.
it's repeatable, you systemize it. You know that the day after Thanksgiving, these three Christmas things go up. This big, we got our Grinch got stolen a couple years ago, but this
Oh,
big cracker, it was horrible. You schedule it, and it's the
yeah.
system. and everybody knows their role. And we have what we call lobby campaigns,
Mm.
and certain photo ops go up, and certain decor goes up, and certain imagery goes up every 4 months with this plan. And you just systemize it. It's hard the first time you do something new,
Sure.
and always tweaking it and freshening it up. But if you have the main calendar and systems in place, and you're right, technology is our friend,
Mm.
it's really easy.
And I think there's also a point of that it's like there's always a reason to celebrate, guys. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's lollipop day, but whatever it is, there's always a reason, and there's always a reason to have something special and exciting.
We love those national whatever days, National Rubber Ducky Day. Like, I could do something with that. I could for sure do something with that. I could send everybody home with a rubber ducky that says Cali on it or Sweet Peas on it,
Yeah,
and I will have made them earn that rubber
sure.
ducky. But that's going to be in the bathtub tonight,
Yeah.
and then there we are.
And having that conversation at bath time. And now you're the center of that conversation. I love that. There's always moments in a child's journey where families are likely to quit. And what are some of these transition points, and how can gyms turn these into retention moments instead of membership cancellations?
Some of them are self-imposed. So the things that we have changed, we see operations that have seasons. So there's a winter schedule, and then that schedule gets changed for summer, and then the summer schedule gets changed again. So we have created these cues to drop. And there's something in our DNA as a parent that says, oh, it's over, this school's over. Okay, summer, oh, we're going to take a break because we're going to go on vacation. So the
Mm.
first thing we can do is stop creating these speed bumps, these cues to drop. And one of them is that summer scheduling. And there's other ways to do your scheduling where you can simply shrink it and expand it. We also believe in the monthly perpetual enrollment, which most people are on, but not everybody. There's one. We know that outside of our scheduling, that there are transition years for kids, that kindergarten to first grade is a transition year that can affect us as well. They're starting a new school, their drive might be different, their timing might be different. So we have to, in my mind, what that means is we stay ahead of it. We make sure they know we have all these options. It's also a great time to promote a child and elevate their standing in the facility or in their program, but
Sure.
try to stay ahead of it. Yeah, there's things that anytime we change prices, that's going to be a cue to
Sure.
drop. Anytime we close a class and ask them to come to another time period, that is a cue to
Mhm.
drop. That can be a problem for us. So we try not to signal changes. We try to keep things seamless and not advertise that there's a speed bump coming.
Sure. Yeah. And I like what you said. A lot of it's self-imposed. Like we're just building this into our business model without realizing the implications of what it could actually create. And one of these other small pieces that I'd like for you to speak on is the level up, right? Oh, you earned your skills. And I think from the gym owner's mind, at least the people that really truly care about the curriculum that they're delivering, is that we want to celebrate these kids level up. We want to make it a big deal, and we want to have the, whether it's a showcase or if it's just like a level up day or whatever it is, but that may also be a cue.
You're absolutely right. It is, especially for a parent who had an end goal in mind. Like they're thinking, my daughter is not going to be a ninja for her whole life. I'm doing ninja now because she's really going to be a soccer player. And this I know is going to help her with her soccer skills. So
Yeah.
we have to change her mind at some point.
Sure.
So her mindset might be as soon as you get to level two ninja, our job is done. So we
Mhm.
have to be ready for that and make sure they know. And we want to give them those accolades, but how do we lure them into the next level and make it so appealing that this becomes their primary sport? We see it mostly actually in swimming. Swimming
Mm.
is the most susceptible to level up drops. And that's because parents have an end game of my goal, my job is to make my child safe. The ones that want to swim in the long run, they'll stay and they'll move on probably to a competitive program. But so we work hard to keep them as long as we can in swimming and try not to have them at age 5 or 6 level out. And that involves a really cute little team program that we have. We are not a competitive program. So if we keep you at age 8 or 9, we're pretty psyched about that.
Sure.
And we've made them good swimmers by then too.
Hmm.
But yeah, some programs in particular are susceptible to leveling up. And then along that same discussion is the evaluations.
Oh,
We've
sure.
talked about that. Yeah, there's some studies now that say 41% of drops come within 2 weeks of an evaluation, which just blew me away. Just absolutely blew me away. And I haven't checked that against my own stats, but
Sure.
I'm confident there's something to it.
Mm.
And I think most of that, there might be some of the leveling up syndrome, but I think most of it is poorly done evaluations
Yeah.
and sensitive parents. We're sensitive as parents. And so,
Yeah.
between 95 good things, and all I saw was the one thing that she didn't get an A plus on. And so
Mhm.
maybe gymnastics isn't for you, or maybe you're not meant to be a ninja. And we corral the parent into these thinking processes.
And it makes you take a second look at the evaluation process, and even just that word evaluation. And this was something that I learned very early on with ninja, was like everybody called it testing week, and then kids started calling out like, oh, they're not going to be there, they don't want to take a test, right? Like
Oh,
nobody wants to take a test. And so sometimes it's like it's framing and how the coach presents it to them, how they communicate that to the kids and the parents, right? Because nobody, and even the word evaluation, right? Like that immediately makes me nervous. Like, how do you think it's making the kids feel or the parents feel? And I think that there's some nuance to that to do. And of course, like we want to check the progress. That's what they're here to do, is progress the skills. We need to take a second look at how we actually do this evaluation, because it might be hurting you more than it's helping you.
yeah, and I'm not an advocate of gratuitous applause, but we just have to know that it can be a sore point for both the child and the parent. And so really, as you say, frame it in a smart way, provide a lure and focus on what the future holds and not how they performed on this day
Mm,
for this skill or the last month or so.
sure.
As long as we make them understand that our goal really is to make them better, that they can do it. I think young people, they want to be challenged. They want to earn it. They really do.
Yeah.
They just want the support along the way. And so that's where, if we can frame that as a challenge and then tell them all the things we're going to do to help them get there together, then it can work beautifully.
Yeah, sure. I love that. And on the same kind of line of thinking, what are some other common policies that maybe we unintentionally drive families away, and like ways that we can reshape them?
Unintentional policies. Hopefully, we're not doing a lot of these. A lot of the things that we used to do were harsh business policies.
Mm,
So we used to do late fees. There are still people that do late fees. We used to have policies like if you're more than 10 minutes late, especially for a serious program, you do conditioning or you can't participate. It's a
yeah.
terrible dated policy.
Yeah.
I just read on a thread a head coach complaining about this parent had signed their team contract and now the parent blah 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 blah.
Mm,
You signed a team contract,
mm,
and that's not something that I would advocate that we continue to do. I don't think you need to contract with your parents, and
mm,
someone might give you all the reasons why. Most of that is based on a need for business stability
sure.
and team stability and the dynamics of the team for the coach. And it
Mm,
has nothing to do with the forward care and thinking toward the child or the family.
yeah.
So when someone puts someone in a contract, it doesn't work out, and they breach the contract, they take them to court. I've heard these ridiculous stories.
Yeah.
Then okay, you sure showed them you just lost that customer, and the child probably wanted nothing to do with it. The child
Yeah.
might have been quite happy. So usually when we see bad practices, they're business related.
Sure.
They're weird, dated business policies.
Mm. But something that really stuck with me, and I've thought about quite a few times since, was your idea around marketing and how gym owners market classes. Now, you seem to market the feeling or the outcome, right? The end result of whatever modality is, right? So, how do you think about the difference between the two approaches of, I'd love for you to just speak on the differences between those two mindsets and how that benefits your marketing.
The first one is, and it's a classic marketing thought, is I like to cast a wide net. So let's say one of my favorite campaigns that I've done is I call it Long Live Childhood. And there's a long period, live period, childhood. And I know that not every child is thinking they're going to be a ninja or a gymnast. And so if I simply put out little girls in gymnastics in my gym on a bar, long live childhood, that it's going to get passed right by just really quickly because it's not what they're looking for. Whereas if I start with a big net and I just have a child outside playing, jumping over a fence, jumping over a river, swinging on a swing set, jumping into a pond, these very child based activities that would appeal to almost any parent. If
Yeah.
I put 6 or 7 of those out first as part of my 20-part campaign, right? And I put those out, and I'm going to put them out with an 8-year-old boy, a 5-year-old boy, a 9-year-old girl. And then after many of those, hopefully I've caught some views. Hopefully
Right.
people are recognizing that and seeing that recurring motif. And then I'm going to bring that in. And now I'm going to start posting in my facility. And I might bring one intermediate one, like maybe I do a boy at the beach in a bathing suit, and then the next one, a boy in his bathing suit learning with a kickboard or getting ready to race or learning the butterfly. So now I've taken that and I've just focused right in on you rein them in, is what you hope.
Yeah.
So that's one way to look at it. And then it's actually the inverse. So once they're in my facility, all of the internal marketing that I'm doing, I don't feel like I need to compel them to take swimming lessons. They're
Mhm.
already taking swimming lessons.
Yeah.
So now my goal is to retain them. So internally, I'm going to do marketing pieces, usually visual, and they're going to be hopefully big pieces around the facility, but I'm going to aim at helping them to understand why they are here. And they're not here to swim back and forth through the lanes. They're here so that, and I think I showed you,
Yeah.
there's a boy surfing so that he can have fun surfing, or a little boy snorkeling. He was a little guy snorkeling because he
Yeah.
swims well, or a little girl on her boogie board. So then from the inside, for the retention point of view, I'm pointing outwardly again in it for a different reason.
Yeah. And it's part of framing of the parent, of the subtle reminder as to why swimming classes are so valuable. Or to put it in a ninja sense, right? Like the kid can actually do the monkey bars on the playground. Like how many parents actually want that for their kid, right? But instead of, oh, they're here on a ninja obstacle, it's no, they're out at the park doing the monkey bars because that's what's going to help them. And so I just love this frame of the way that you think about marketing. And I think that it solidifies that for the parent, right? That subtle reminder is it's just on the wall, right? And they're like, oh, yeah, this is why we're doing it.
All the personality things, like the courage that these activities take, that require and that they nurture, that courage, it's going to be the ninja kid. Like when you're at school and there's a ginormous puddle or trench and they're all thinking about jumping, it's going to be the ninja kid that's
Right.
first. No, it is, You're
Yeah.
probably going to clear it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Where all the other ones are gonna get wet and they'll be walking away dry.
So, cool thing
Yeah.
to know that what we're teaching, that we get paid to do this, that what we're teaching honestly is helping kids find their awesomeness. Like it really, really is a cool thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit more about Summit. So, for those who don't know what Summit is, could you give us a little lay of the land of what is Summit? Why do you do it? And how is this an opportunity for people that are maybe listening or they're a gym owner and they can come and learn from the best?
Yeah. So started it in 2012 after being in the industry for 20 years. And I go to all the events. I'm a lifelong learner. I got to the point where if I was learning 2 or 3 new things, I was pretty satisfied.
Mm.
Then I thought, I love all these people and I come to see the people, but I need to be learning more than 2 or 3 things. Like I flew all the way to New York. So I decided to create an event, and I started in 2012, invited 50 of my friends, and we all got together and we just pounded out some good discussions about new trends and new tech and legal concerns and just smart topics. I did it one year, then another year, and then the event grew. We hosted in Orange County. It's been in another county and we outgrew that. So we brought it to our own hometown, which allows me to be able to have people visit Cali and the Sweet Peas, and I can host a dinner in my home, which is
Mm.
really fun for us, quite social. It's 2 days, it's fast paced. The presentations are 40 to 45 minutes. There's a business template that I follow. I always have a marketing, always have a financial, always have a leadership, always have a risk management, always have 2 or 3 tech. Now we're doing a few more because of AI.
Mm.
Always have a growth and development, always have a global economics that affects small businesses. It's straight business. There's often a child development one as well, or how children learn. So it's straight business. And the brightest of the brightest, the people that come to the summit are the people that are ready for that. Who, if I'm talking about the tax implications of distributions, they're going to say, not for me. No, they're going to say, wait, I'm so there. I'm
Yeah.
tired of paying taxes or whatever. So we try to find the topics that we don't know about already that are interesting to us.
This is January 27th and 28th in Orange County. And so is it open? It sounds like you're looking for a particular individual, but is this open for anybody to go in and register?
Open, yeah. Who it suits best would be owners, leaders, managers. That's who it suits best. If someone is just teaching, it's a lot of business for them. But if they're just teaching and they're thinking in 5 years, I'm going to own my own business, absolutely. They can be there taking notes. We can hold about 140. We usually sell out. And the website is thesummiteducation.com. And we're actively enrolling. There's a little bit of a time crunch on the rooms. There's a room block, but even without the room block, the rooms are pretty affordable. We stay about 5 minutes away, and yeah, it's a pretty cool event. I'm pretty proud of it, and I look forward to it every year. It's homespun and smart and personable and incredible networking.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't been to any of these events, this is how you build stronger connections in the industry. We are sitting on this call right now because me and Lynn met a month ago at one of these events, right? And these are how you can truly expand your network, expand your knowledge, and get connected with people that are really doing these businesses at an extremely high level and be able to learn so much from them. I did want to give you a little bit of time to talk a little bit about Sweet Peas, just so people know what Sweet Peas is. We talked about it some on this call, but give them like, what is Sweet Peas? How is it helpful to a gym?
Sweet Peas is a licensing program. Sweet Peas is gymnastics, preschool gymnastics. We took what we were really good at, and systemized it. And then we looked into franchising and some other business models. And for gymnastics, I decided the best model was a licensing, which is $199 a month. We don't touch anybody's profit margins. And that's kind of it. And there's a huge amount of resources. So the people that are doing it are people that own franchises. They have their main location set up and they would like to augment that main location, or we have big gymnastic centers who already have a preschool program, but they want to get their curriculum in line, and they like the Sweet Peas really focuses on the developmental benefits, or they're ready to rebrand. Yeah, we have about 100 locations. We're in 8 countries, and it's the fastest growing gymnastics brand right now. We're really excited about it. Yeah, and it's sweetpeas.com, and it's very cool.
Yes. So if you guys want to learn about Summit, if you want to learn about Sweet Peas, if you want to check out Cal Elite, you can check out all of those things in the description of this video. And of course, Lynn will be tagged. So if you want to connect with her, you could do that directly. Is there any particular way that you would like people to connect with you?
Sure. Email me at lledford@calelite.com. That's probably the best way.
Sweet. Lynn, thank you so much for coming on today. And
Pleasure.
let's end with this. What does running a kids program business mean to you?
Oh, what does it mean to me? It's my identity. It is what started out as what I thought would be a better way to make a living as opposed to practicing law has become a huge part of who I am. And I love the work, and I love the success that we've built, and I love the community, and I love that it's economically safe. I feel we survived a global downturn, we survived COVID, and all of us are still pounding out that door of what's next. We're ready to go. What else can we do? Yeah, it's a big part of who I am. Really love this work. It doesn't matter if it's ninja, gymnastics, dance, it's the same. It's active based, working with kids, helping kids be great.